Before we begin, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and join our growing circle of collectors, history lovers, and treasure hunters. Every week, we uncover a forgotten piece of the past, and today, we're holding something that once jingled in the pockets of men who built a nation, yet today could be worth a fortune. Now, picture this. It's 1949. The world is still healing from the wounds of war. Across the southern tip of Africa, the Union of South Africa is in its prime, a young country, proud of its independence, rich in gold and copper, and still carrying traces of the British crown. In the cities of Johannesburg and Cape Town, the mines hum with the rhythm of labor, and the markets are alive with voices, deals, and the clinking of small copper coins. Among them, a humble little piece shines under the African sun, the South Africa farthing, or as many would call it, the quarter penny. It was a coin that never drew much attention. Small, light, and ordinary, yet beautifully crafted. On one side, the proud figure of a tiny bird, the Cape sparrow, perched gracefully on a branch, captured in motion as if frozen mid-song. On the other side, the portrait of King George VI, his calm gaze symbolizing a fading empire that still reached far and wide. For many South Africans, this coin meant a loaf of bread, a newspaper, or a handful of sweets for a child. It passed between farmers' hands, railway workers, and shopkeepers. It was the sound of daily life, a faint metallic ring echoing through the decades. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. In 1949, something unusual happened in the Royal Mint's production line. A small batch of South Africa farthings was struck in error. Some were produced with minute die variations, while others were pressed on the wrong copper alloy. A few were so perfectly preserved that not even a fingerprint ever touched their surface. These weren't just coins anymore. They were time capsules sealed by history. Collectors know that true rarity isn't about age alone. It's about survival. Think about how many of these little copper pieces were melted down, lost in the soil, or simply discarded as worthless when decimal currency arrived in the 1960s. Out of the hundreds of thousands made, only a handful have endured in pristine, uncirculated condition. Imagine holding one. The copper still gleams softly under the light, untouched by oxidation. The bird is crisp, its feathers defined, and the king's portrait is razor sharp, as if it left the mint just yesterday. For a coin collector, that's not just beauty. That's magic. That's a connection to another lifetime. Now, let's pause for a moment and think about the men of that era. Men who worked with their hands, who built railroads, mined gold, fought in wars, and raised families through uncertain times. That little coin, the 1949 farthing, was part of their world. It witnessed the transformation of a nation, from empire to republic, from colonial legacy to modern identity. It was there in pockets when new governments rose and when old flags fell. You see, coins are more than metal. They're storytellers. They whisper tales of power, economy, and people. Each mark, each year stamped into their surface, is a signature of a moment in time. And when we find one that has survived untouched, we don't just hold a piece of copper. We hold history itself. Over the years, the South Africa farthing has captured the attention of historians and collectors worldwide. Some search for the rare variants with subtle design differences, like spacing in the lettering or slight shifts in the bird's outline. Others look for those proof strikes, minted for presentation or testing, that never entered circulation. And every once in a while, a discovery shakes the numismatic world. A forgotten coin found in a drawer, a small copper disc uncovered in an old estate, a relic that turns out to be one of those rare 1949 farthings. Untouched, perfect, and priceless. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can something so small, something once worth a quarter of a penny, be valuable today? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and the stories it carries. Serious collectors are willing to pay staggering sums for coins that bridge history and perfection. In auctions, we've seen coins that were once pocket change now fetch the price of fine art, luxury cars, even homes. The 1949 South Africa farthing has become one of those legends. Only a few examples in mint state condition are known to exist, and when they do appear, they cause a sensation. Experts describe them as nearly impossible to find. The kind of coin that defines a collection, the crown jewel for any serious investor in historical currency. For older collectors, especially those who remember the pre-decimal days or who held these coins in childhood, there's an emotional connection too. It's not just about money. It's about memory. It's about the sound of old South African markets, the smell of freshly printed newspapers, the rattle of a bus fare tin. It's about a life that feels both distant and familiar, and that's the power of this little coin. It reminds us that value isn't always visible. Sometimes it hides in the smallest objects. A reminder that greatness often begins with something humbled. Oh, here we are, nearly 8 decades later, looking at a piece that once bought a sweet and now buys history itself. Collectors today whisper about a single specimen, a flawless 1949 South Africa farthing, preserved in immaculate condition, authenticated and graded among the finest ever found. The bidding wars were fierce. The experts were stunned. The story spread across the numismatic world like wildfire. And when the hammer finally fell, the price stunned everyone watching. That tiny copper coin, no bigger than your thumbnail, sold for a jaw-dropping $2 million. $2 million. For a coin that once lay forgotten at the bottom of a drawer. Next time you open that old box in your attic, or go through your grandfather's keepsakes, take a closer look. You never know what stories are waiting in the dust, what treasures time has hidden from sight. The smallest coin could hold the greatest fortune. And if you love tales like this, stories where history, luck, and passion collide, make sure you're subscribed, because next week, we'll be uncovering another piece of the past that might just surprise you. Until then, keep your eyes open, your curiosity alive, and remember, sometimes the most ordinary things can hold the most extraordinary value.